Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Do you have a well-balanced portfolio for the oncoming bullish run? Are you merely sitting in Bitcoin? Do you have Ethereum? What is your take on decentralized finance and DeFi tokens? Kind of what's your take on altcoins in general? And as well, what is your positioning as far as precious metals go? Where do you sit on the narrative of gold versus Bitcoin or silver versus gold? There are lots of fundamentals and lots of potential trade setups. And with the market moving the way that it has and setting up for a new round of signals, it is certainly germane and important for us to have this discussion today in Breaking Bitcoin.
Hey guys, I am Chandra from getportal.co and you are watching Breaking Bitcoin.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. I am your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic wherever you're tuning into the show from and wherever you happen to be however you're tuning into us, like what platform you're using, and that you're also doing good in the physical location that you're at. Let's be very clear about that. All right. We've got a great show, a lot to talk about. I want to take a lot of chart requests because I want today to be a day where, for me anyways, the fundamental position in which I approach the market today is it's not an overall interesting day in the market. There are some interesting things that have happened. All right, let's put it that way. So typically this is very common. If you have a very volatile day, traders will tend to regard that as a very important day. Resistance was broke, support was broke type of situations. But when you don't have a lot of chart movement, individuals will often say that that is not a very instructive day or not a very important day. But every day in a trade setup is important when you are planning your trades and trading your plans. That is the optimal way to trade that we cover. So we're going to be covering that today. Community mentoring session tomorrow for the Premium Plus and Advanced members, of course. Before we get started, of course, we are very, very proud to host the fastest online growing community of traders and investors interested in cryptocurrency. So make sure to stay up to date. Join the Discord at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. The link is right there in the description, and it's certainly the best place to be, whether or not you're familiar with Discord, but the best conversations that I've had that have affected my real life trading in the last few years have certainly taken place on Discord. Okay. And of course, we already talked about 9,000 subs on YouTube. If I had some amazing background images loaded up, I would hit them, but I'm not the pro at that. All right, so let's sally forth. Let's get into the charts. Let's break the market down today. As I said, not a very instructive day. So let's look at what things have been instructive and see where we are sitting at overall. With the trades that we've taken and the positions that we've suggested. So let's get into the charts. If you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them in the live chat. The moderators are there certainly to help you out and guide you in the right direction. So let's get it going, guys, and let me know how you guys are doing around the world. All right. That is. Well, Justin, the ring light was working just a second ago. And that's before you asked people to join the Discord. So lay off plugging the Discord. All right, now I got it. Okay. Woo! Over there to the left. The Kybalion, by the way, certainly a good book to read. And Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which was, of course, the precursor by Philip K. Dick. Well, most of you will know as Blade Runner. So certainly a book to read. All right. Sorry. There's the mouse, and now we're ready to begin. We're going to look at this news article here in just a second, but let's get into the charts. It's a good charting day. Let us hold nothing back in our pursuit. All right. It's been a fairly lackadaisical week for us with regards to the premium signal service and trades that we've recommended. We've had an amazing run. So, the analyst team are focused on, and of course, Alex is currently in the process of moving. So, we're down one man. So, we've really plotted out where we want to be in what positions when. So we've done the work of developing that plan. Really all that's left is executing on that plan and managing any externalities that may crop up into the system, as price progresses, as these trends progress. So we have the kind of the large chart breakdown right here. Let's start in the top left with a pathways to profit trading system, analyzing the current daily candle and seeing if that is going to be generating any signals for us to take action on, or at least anything interesting of note. So on the daily here, again, pretty steady as she goes. Yesterday, we had a fairly low volatility and low volume doji candle, very short, very squat wicks on this doji. And we're currently seeing the same thing. Today, of course, a little bit more biased to the downside because we are currently closing, which means the last price. Current price is always close on an unclosed candle. Because it is lower than it's open. So, of course, we opened today's candle. Pull up our HLC stats. We opened at 11,227 over here on Bitfinex, currently trading at 11,182. So, not a huge movement. That's about a $40 to $50 movement. It depends on if you get slid anywhere on the books. So, nothing has changed. We are in a bullish trend. We're going to need with this system anyways, the system would suggest a daily close below 10,138. So, we could broadly say 10,200, 10,100. If we are trying to be a more general, a close below those levels would be signifying a switch in the trend and potentially to be looking for shorts. We don't see that yet. We see almost everything firing bullish. We do not have, take a gander here. Yeah. We do not have an exit signal yet. So this trade properly, take a gander. Let's see here. Here, the 21st of July is when the initiator signaled this trade, and we do see that MACD leader, which is being utilized as the confirmer, does line up. Lazy Bear's OBV as an oscillator is agreeing or confirming bullish trades at that point in time, and our exit indicator is not giving us any signal on that current candle. So that is a valid strategy. That is a valid trading signal to go long with a tested PTP system, which this one is. This is a pretty good, shall we say, out of the box PTP system. And again, I believe what I'm going to do over the next few months as I'm continuing to upload content is I think I'm going to release some statistics on, actually it would be fun to make a game of it. Certainly for the premium members, like grabbing indicators and seeing what kind of off-the-shelf PTP system we can run. And it's a very powerful tool. And it's really going to serve you well in your trading career if you take the time to learn and analyze what particular indicators tell you about any market on any time frame. By reviewing the information that they're giving you, you will learn to spot patterns. These patterns can form the basis of your discretionary trading strategy or rules. Excuse me. Properly, if I want to label it correctly, I use the right terminology. A discretionary trading strategy is generally a basket of rules. A basket of rules and a basket of rules by any other name, but I'll say conditions or triggers or signals or setups. They can go by many different names, but the commonality here is rules. So for example, let's say that one has a discretionary trading system where one looks for, longs on pullbacks in bullish markets. So I would assume that a decent strategy or a good concept, a good theory for a strategy would be something that utilizes something like an initiator, confirmer, baseline split that is utilized to determine the trend of the market, whether we want to be trading long or short. So once that's been identified, once we are aware of a particular trend, I would still apply the same methodology that we utilize in Pathways to Profit, which is by observing some some non-generally directional based indicator in the market. That would be something like volume or volatility, to kind of let us know when the market, not to kind of let us know, but to very accurately actually let us know when the iron is hot to strike, when there is opportunity, and that opportunity is being expressed by high volatility or through high amounts of volume. And then you would need some sort of entry system. And I assume that a reversal indicator, a good one here, would serve you quite well. And as well, perhaps a strategy similar to a reversal baseline bounce. So you have these rules. Let's look at rules. Let me try to think off the top of my head. Rules for pullback systems that I've traded, as well as rules for pullback systems that I've seen. So, for example, let's be very specific and talk about entry conditions for pullback longs in bullish markets. So one condition would be that price has not closed below a daily or weekly baseline, whatever you're utilizing, to determine the trend. So generally for most of our traders, this is going to be the daily baseline of their choice based on their back testing. Of course, this can also be a weekly. I do not recommend a monthly line, especially in cryptocurrency. There's just not enough data to make looking at a monthly chart important. And so I tend to scoff. People have sent me altcoin monthly charts, and the thing is, I really can't help but laugh because there's just not enough data there. People already kind of lose their minds, typically if they're new to the channel, that I focus on the daily time frame. That is the time frame in which I'm actually the most profitable. And so too are individuals that kind of drop out and focus on that. Not drop out from what we do, drop out from what the rest of the market tends to do, which is overthink very small movements that really aren't based on higher time frame heuristics. Let's see here. Let's check out the chat. I'm not super busy. That's okay, guys. I feel you. Maybe some little bit of COVID depression kind of going around. Not here, but I certainly do feel it. For you guys out there who have your tribe, have your very close knit group of friends. It seems like everybody's kind of bothered today. It's the kind of day overall, and not me. There's very little for me to be bothered about. I got to wake up another day, tend to my garden. Got a pretty cool 2-year-old that keeps me busy. To review the markets, have a few mentoring sessions. The only negative was I had to drive into town. That was with roads being kind of closed currently where they're at in my location. It makes let's see here. It makes what should be a 15-minute drive into a 30-minute adventure. So, and apparently I would suggest that the COVID blues. I'm just kind of having a lark, guys, but it seems to be affecting people's driving. So, note to self, right, guys? We all know it's like tough out there, but come on, 2 hands on the wheel. You're playing with your phone while you're driving. Small ask, man. Brett B-Flow says, I feel like you have a bonsai tree. I don't. But what I would like to say is, I don't want to say like I'm some student of some amazing. I fold my clothes Marie Kim style, right? The Marie Kondo or whatever method. Watched a couple YouTube videos. Made sense to me. So my clothes are all like that, super organized. I'm a very organized and neat person. So, and I take pleasure in that. So everything is pretty much where it needs to be. And I think that's really important. I don't talk about that a lot, like kind of the minimalist lifestyle. It's not. It is something that you don't just get to say. I think a lot of people just say that. You don't have to be really hardcore or make drastically different decisions that you normally would, but you do find yourself, if you take it seriously and look at it as a psychological, emotional, and a philosophical. Not framework, but strategy. Minimalism is a strategy. So I think that individuals tend to go through life. This is what I've observed. Not really paying attention to heuristics or testing or everybody gets kind of caught up with the existentialism of their own existence. Like, whoa, it's me. I can see and feel and taste and touch, and my love is the purest, and my feelings are the realest. No, we all got them. We all got them. There's about almost 9 billion people with a very similar makeup to you. So I think that, as in trading, having the best, based on this knowledge, that having a strategy in most aspects of life separates those who do well from those who do not. There's almost very little in life that you can apply a systems thinking approach, which certainly is a philosophical framework. So systems thinking was probably my favorite subject in college, which is interesting because they didn't really teach us that much about the systems thinking approach when I went into entrepreneurial and diversified agriculture. That is the field that I went into, and so it's just these concepts of developing strategies. It's interesting how throughout my life I've been able to apply them to different areas. Hell Drove Facts says, Justin, I'm fairly new, but what is the time frame of your trades normally? Long term, a day trade, a scalp? So for trades that I put on manually, the trades that I focus on, the trades that are in my wheelhouse that generate the most profit for me, are daily swing trades that are typically held open from anywhere for several days if it is a kind of a TP1 and back to stop, which I would say is probably between depending on the month, 30 to 60%, maybe. That seems about right. I'll get some more accurate numbers, but that certainly does seem right. And then the rest of the trades are typically held anywhere from between a week to I'd say 2 weeks. 2 weeks is pretty good average size for a good swing trade if things happen correctly. Individuals are. I see individuals, and I talked about this earlier in the week. How I often see individuals before they really finish with all the modules that instruct them on how to identify the elements of their system that they need. Like they certainly do need these systems. Need these components. I tend to find people begin to optimize and work on tweaking their stop and target system, which I do not recommend doing kind of up front. You want to do that later, after you have developed the systems building kind of approach mentality. You've really become proficient at it. You've really back tested quite a lot of indicators. Probably progressed in your understanding of back testing as well. So now you're looking at perhaps more complicated metrics. Some of them are not as helpful as they seem. One challenge of creating the Pathways to Profit course was, how can I provide a guide on how to build what every trader wants to build, which is, simply put, a profitable trading strategy. Okay, this is what people want. They want to have the structure in place that does generate profit. Good. Okay, so 2, they want that strategy to be consistent. They would like to have, generally, this is very, very common here. You want some level of consistency. Personal desire here, or kind of personal machination, is going to vary a little bit depending on if you are actively desiring to be a full-time trader, you want to be a professional, or if this is just a hobby, in which case. All right, so let's see here. I could have kept going down that, but let's. One last thought there. So how do I provide a guide for individuals that allows them to accomplish these tasks, have a profitable trading system, but also, because they're going to be doing things like back testing and forward testing and position sizing and all of these things that are simulated, how can they avoid there are so many pitfalls, rabbit holes that you can fall into in back testing. Unfortunately, the number of times that I have become very interested in certain metrics or a particular approach to back testing, or perhaps a programming language or a strategy tester or something like that, Many times I've gotten excited and felt that some way, shape, or form, I've touched into something. I've touched into the juice of the trading gods. Like, it's there. Okay, I have something that's not just good. This is damn great. This thing is going to pay the bills forever. Usually, actually, to be real, every single time, I've found some flaw in it that made me realize, this is not as amazing as I once thought it was. So what holds up at the end after having done this for a very long time and taught individuals to do this for a long time? Consistency and quality, right? Not the holy grail, not the perfect trading system, not the always double your money per trade. None of that. That stuff it's a fantasy. It doesn't exist. It's not going to happen. You know? And I contest that the traders who trade the way that we trade, or who just develop their systems building approach with us, or learn it through osmosis, through the live stream. I truly do believe they are I want to say better traders, but happier traders. Building your own system gives you a pretty powerful belief in your own system and your own skill set. At the end of the day, if you have built a PTP system, you did that. That is all you. You are responsible for your growth. You're responsible for your decline. And, rather than, I bought some indicator and it's really good. It's making me money, but I can't see the source code. I don't know why it's generating these signals. I just buy when it tells me to buy. It's this magic, homunculus in a glass. Okay, let's see here. Helger Fox says they don't always last. Yeah, edges do not always last. They're not always persistent. Every moment in the market is unique. He says you need multiple strategies for different markets, and you always need to intervene in your auto trading scripts depending on these trends. Yeah, so I will certainly agree with you. Having multiple strategies is generally a good idea. So I do have a different strategy for Forex as I do for cryptocurrency. And I also have a different strategy for ETFs as I do for precious metals. Now, when I display charts on stream, I tend to use some comprehensive PTP system. So one that I know is good, that is robust, and can generally be used anywhere. Now, you can choose to go with that, and you will know through your testing, kind of your upfront estimated hit rate and drawdown. You can estimate all of these. Begin plugging the numbers in because we have the architecture and the tools to do them. So the trading journals, the sheets, the tracking sheets, all of these things. Because we want our traders and we want ourselves to actually make money. So this is something that I've been thinking about lately. There are, unfortunately, a lot of they're going to crop up in bull markets. They're going to accelerate. I don't know who remembers 2017. It was rampant with scams, and not just scams in general, right? Anybody can fall for a scam, but traders in particular, right? I'm trying to speak to my people here. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to attempt to sell some magical indicator, strategy, bot, whatever, anything related to trading. Those people are not going to be here by the end of the bull market. They're certainly not going to be here probably anytime at the bear market. Now, again, we got some vets out here who've been around for a long time, but when you see new people crop up, they do not have something super magical and special for you. And even if they do, even if they have something that's pretty good, I'll tell you from experience, it is not. Let's see here. Let's put it this way. Let's take a quote that I like. It is not a measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. Okay, so what can we take away from that? Well, you will not You will not be very happy if all you do is follow somebody else's signals. Now, for example, some people are going to be okay with that. Most eventually will want more, right? They want to feel people. This is why I'm bullish on humanity. Like when you drill down into and you talk to people and you just kind of refuse to accept anything that they say that is false, right? You just only focus on the truth and kind of what's good is my approach. Because so, a lot of people say things that just aren't true a lot. There's so much of what I would consider normal conversation between individuals. This and people tend to be afraid to talk about how they feel or what they want and what they're really doing. Yeah, okay. So we've been on Bitcoin here for the daily. Let's get rolling just a little bit. I do want to check out. We get great comments on here when you guys get into the live chat, and I enjoy the conversation quite a bit. And often, listen, here's the thing: we cover so many charts, we cover so many markets, that we never really have to worry about satisfying your guys' hunger for content. We got that. We got that unlocked. We have a great team, and they're all passionate and they work hard. So we're good on that. But often when we have these conversations and we let them edge into, people tend to really think about. People will sit there and trade the chart and be thinking about what's going on in their personal life or in their romantic life or in their parenting life or whatever. These things matter, right? Like how we deal with situations matter, and how we. I am my ring. I apologize. I'm in this glass way too much. Yeah. So we can. And what's really cool is, and this is certainly how I have developed what I would consider strategies for things like friendships and even the way that I parent my daughter. It's not. I think people just apply a negative connotation to it. It's nothing of the sort, right? People want that. People want to be able to effectively solve problems. So I'll give you guys a good example. When you wake your daughter up in the morning early, and you're like, hey, this is my personal routine. Sometimes we do things a little bit differently. We go outside, and she helps me water our garden. We do some positive affirmations. Sometimes we do like a salute to the sun, or some kind of a little yoga thing, or a stretch, or just something physical. Depending on how squirrely we feel, we'll run or jump, or we'll do something. Right? It's good to wake up with good positive energy. Makes the rest of the day pretty happy. But there's going to be days when even the most positive person is going to not wake up that way. So having a strategy on how to deal with your own lethargy, your own lack of desire to get out of bed sometimes, and it's I only say this because I think that there are so many people out here on YouTube. I say a lot of words, but now I want, if at all possible, I'd like my words to have real impact and touch people. So, I cannot tell you how many traders I have mentored that have said something along the lines of, hey, sometimes when I've had losing trades, or even when they've had a winning streak, okay, it can happen at any time. They sometimes fall into these. I would kind of classify them somewhat manic depressive, where they find it difficult to get out of bed sometimes. Like even when they've had winning runs. Okay, this isn't unique to trading, but real trading, will quickly bring to light your. Let's say, yeah, this is a better way to say it. Real trading, the stress and the emotional discipline that you need to be successful, right? Because your emotional discipline will be tested over and over and over again. Your kind of your flight or fight response will be tested over and over again. Your resolve will be tested. And, you trade consistently with a strategy for quite a while, and it becomes second nature. But eventually, it's difficult. You are trying to hardwire your brain to react and think about situations differently. Because naturally, we tend to think in patterns that do not produce the best results in the market. People take profit too early. People sell at the first sign of price depreciation or price breaking down. People very commonly buy tops or sell bottoms. Or at optimum prices. Excuse me. And I think the emotional side there is very, very true. This is why, again, technical analysis is an important tool in our toolkit. But as I say over and over again, what pays the bills is position sizing, emotional discipline, trade psychology, and everything that goes with that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I do not have a bonsai tree, but I do have some deep thoughts. Maybe a bonsai tree would be good. C.D. Gregory says, "What is considered high volume on Bitcoin?" Let's try to pick an objective model. There are a few interesting indicators that attempt to do this. I don't really have a preference. I've certainly tested, like if you ask me about a specific indicator, I can tell you whether, in my opinion, it's broadly good or broadly bad. Some will be great. A lot of indicators will be mediocre at best. You do really have to be, pretty discriminatory about what you look for. And the nice thing is, once you know what to look for, it's relatively simple to find them. And there's a ton. There are a lot of really, really good indicators out there. And they come out every single day. It's cool. Indicators aren't going anywhere. Okay. So what is considered high volume on Bitcoin? Well, let's go to Glassnode. Glassnode Studios right here. Okay, I'm logged in, and let's go to supply. All right. Market. No, I don't. So, I apologize. I know that Glassnodes is a pretty good volume. At least I thought they did. Exchanges. Yeah, excuse me. Here we go. So we got exchange inflow, exchange outflow, exchange net flow. I really want to see the volume on exchanges in general. I do like broader, more smooth volume data. So I don't have a, well, actually I can tell you what I know. And we can adapt this to whatever strategy we want to do. All right, so we can use the built-in TradingView volume indicator. We can also use, which measures depending on what chart you're looking at, it's generally the quantity of Bitcoin that were transacted on that bar, right? So when we are looking at the daily time frame, when we're looking at the daily chart, every candle here, every Japanese candlestick represents one day. What price, at what price did this candle open? Open the candle. What was the highest price traded in that time? And what was the lowest price traded? And then also, what was the closing price, which is the price 1 second prior to 12. So the UTC, which is when cryptocurrency exchanges close. All right. So yeah, we can certainly pull out a calculator and look at. We can sum up all the volumes. So we have volume added here. We're going to open up the data window so we can actually pull up this data metric, and to make it easier to see. To make it easier to see, let's remove some of these other indicators. So we only have one thing to look at in the data window. And that is going to be right here, volume 2.622 thousand. And here we can see that there was 21.575 thousand on this candle. So it's pretty easy to see what is high and low volume. And the very nice thing, actually, is that we can simplify this process with a few button clicks by using a volume moving average. So this is a very popular, this is actually a very popular ball filter. And I will tell you what, I do think that it is suboptimal. A lot of people have asked me that because I will ask individuals in mentoring sessions like, hey, what ball, I see that you have, the last time we've spoken, now that everything is on the Online Trading Academy, I have the ability to really see where people are individually in the course and where they're getting stuck. So it allows me and the analyst team to kind of review where people are at. And we can say to ourselves like, hey, it seems Bob has been stuck on, the test for volatility filters for quite a while. We should probably reach out to him for a mentoring session and see what the holdup is. We want to see people progressing in a consistent fashion. And because that means that they're really reaping the benefit of what they have requested, which is training, the knowledge to build one's system. Okay, you blasphemy, you sun-worshipping heathen. MB22. GPU Professor Wally's. This just in. Cracking Crypto is bullish on Tron and a confirmed sun worshiper. I would what would I say? Tweet that or something. All right. Damien, who says Cardano has me in a good mood. Let's go look. So hold on. Let's seem to have divested a little bit. So I think Jack is really going to enjoy the editing later. I apologize, man. With Bitcoin, I don't see any necessary action to take here. If we do close below 10,200, it's 10,179. So slightly different from what I see on the screen. That would be a close below the baseline for me. And so I would be preparing myself to see. I would be preparing to take a short trade. Hedging would come into what I'm doing. We do not recommend hedging anymore at this current time until we have it automated. So the thing about hedging is I can tell you guys with 100% veracity that hedging has saved me so much money, and I mean overall, like cumulatively, if you sum everything up, been a massive impact. I mean a massive impact over the last 3 years. So it's a huge. I feel like you can't even say that and enjoy the word huge. Hedging has been a fantastic addition to my strategy. I have a fairly aggressive hedging strategy, very upfront with. I'm generally all in or all out of BTC. I use stable coins for this, and then of course I use exchanges with leverage so that I can sell Bitcoin if I need to. That is the definition of hedging. Now you are spot long on Bitcoin. If you add a negative position as well, which would be a short contract, you're now flat essentially. But there are specific benefits, and I think that a lot of those benefits have to do with just objectively measuring the mathematics out, and as many things are, psychological. All right. And yeah, honestly, guys, I'm watching out for that torrential rain like that. Whew, you guys want to know why I was late to the stream today? Triggered, man. I just so terrifying. Ron Legato says, I like to think that with a strategy, your fight or flight turns into stalk and trap. That's a good one. Somebody clip that for a t-shirt. That should go on the website, right? Like trading without a strategy, and you just see maybe it's a little comic strip. Like I think I could probably do that. You see the hunter trying to chase the lion, and the lion gets him. The third picture in the collage is not looking too great. The hunter's like looking for the lion, and then like, yo, over here, you don't hunt me. So that is trading without a strategy, and then trading with a strategy. You got the individual, you've got the hunter setting up pretty advanced traps and booby traps. All right. Crypto Caveman. Thank you for the 5 Canadian, my friend. He's got a question. I got you, man. Okay. I'm having trouble taking my ICO tokens off of my ledger, Celsius in particular. How does one trade tokens off of the ledger? Okay, so I did actually respond. So first of all, thank you for the 5 CAD, man. I really appreciate that. Secondly, I did respond to your comment when you first made it about this same issue. So if it is and the answer is, it still stands. If you have so almost all ICOs are going to be ERC20s, because all ICOs were launched on Ethereum, so they have their own. Many will have their own token, called some ERC20 token. You can search for all this on EtherScan. You can find the contracts for these to help verify your transactions. But at the end of the day, Ledger's not AirSwap. Ledger is not Kyber Network. It's not Uniswap. It's not going to trade one asset into another. You need an exchanger to do that. Coinbase, Kraken, Bitfinex, Bittrex, Binance, Poloniex. It doesn't matter. You need 2 pools of liquidity. You need someone with a high credit on the credit side of their account, so that they can purchase your position once you wish to sell, and kind of the inverse for the opposite side of the trade. That it doesn't. This is very broad. I just brought it up because I guess like to avoid the. Often when people will adopt something new to their lives, they struggle to find the kind of the meaning of the purpose, right? It takes a bit of time. So like general malaise protection, right? All nationwide, and see if they can. Yeah, sorry, I might have been a little too far away from the microphone. Okay. So hopefully you heard that, my friend. Here, let me know if you didn't, because I will repeat it. But sorry, I actually didn't get to the point, which was almost all ICO tokens are going to be ERC20 tokens, which means you just send them to an Ethereum address. All ERC20 tokens can be sent to an Ethereum address, so you just do that. So for example, if you go to your Ledger and then you go to your, let's just say Binance, your Binance Ethereum address, there's your deposit address. So, and then you can sell those tokens for into whatever quote currency that your exchange will let you. So typically your options are going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum, obviously, and then USDT, USDC, DAI, Pax, Paxos. So, but I don't really can't think of an exchange that. Well, I can. But moving on. Yeah, watch. Sorry, man, I just can't get over that. Watching out for that tarantula. Rain. And let me see. I'm almost confident that it is, but I will. Let me check for you, because that would be a nightmare if I just misspoke. Let's see here. Ether scan Celsius. Listen, don't teach a man to fish. Teach a man how to use Google search. Just saying. There's what separates you. Listen, guys. What separates you from everybody else that goes on Amazon shopping and just one click buys it? What separates you from those people could be, and it does right now, because a lot of you probably quite like that, and that is okay. Listen, that's fine. But there's a whole army of you who are going to build it from scratch yourself. And the main delineating factor is, do you know how to use a search engine well? Anybody can just type something in. You got to know how to use this thing to find what you want to find. There are best practices. All right, we got 100 chats in the live stream. 7 minutes down. I'll start a little late, so. All right. Midwest attempts. Sorry, so Jason's Medea loyalty points trade just from yesterday, sorry, just hit TP1. So let's look at that. Sorry. Based on that just a second. Challenge Investor says, yep, like 50% Amazon products, Chinese not Chinese knockoffs. Listen, I'll say that I'm generally satisfied with the quality of what I get from Amazon when I do order from Amazon, which is normally larger purchases, right? Yeah, most of the time I'm satisfied with the quality. If you want to see really really poor quality, try ordering some things with Wish. That is terrible application. Like, it's a great business model for them, but you see, I don't know, kids just seem to go crazy for this stuff, and I wasn't having it. All that stuff is worthless. Okay, so we have the Celsius token tracker here on Etherscan. We can see that it is an ERC20 token. Here's the contract number right here. If you want to kind of nerd out on this, you can look in and see some information about the protocol and smart contract and things like that. Newsflash, everything is made in China. Not everything, sir. Not everything. There's some good stuff made in China. Hang on. If people find that controversial, that will amuse me. All right. Oh, crypto. Okay, so sorry. I read Crypto Jack's message there like a couple times in my head. Like, okay, so the Centers for CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, care about CRO. Like, if this is true, this just became very messy. Very messy trade. But no, something much more simpler. They have confirmed that we are not in a dream or a nightmare. That MCO is going to go the way of the dinosaur. All right, let's go to. Yeah, I really enjoy these weeks. I get to focus on mentoring. I've written a lot this week. New courses, new materials, just general revisions and updates of the information that I currently have right now. Akash Subramani. I really appreciate the comments. I do see that's like your fourth or fifth one, saying broadly the same thing. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to make sure I keep up with the chat. Let's see here. Peckham 08 says, at the 1 minute chart up, it was hilarious. Always the best stories always start with like, there I was in line at space shop, and all of a sudden, I like those stories. Life is amusing. Okay, even your favorite company's best stuff. Yeah, sir. Like, listen, like, sir, nobody's gonna deny that manufacturing. I would say prowess, but what's the right word? Dependence, yeah, on cheap Chinese production, particularly for the electronics markets, and pretty much what society runs on. It is. Okay. Following up on that 1 minute chart story, says Peckham. He is talking here about. First, he does request a remedial. So, oh, you want a metal? I'm sorry. I thought. I really thought that said. Can I have a remedial? I'm trying to do this, guys, but yeah, I'm just clicking buttons on the 1 minute. Basically, what they open. If that's the truth, then yes. Probably not gonna
If you're clicking random buttons and that's not working for you, your strategy is not working. Now, random is less random than I think it's random. Imagining reorganizing a room of 6 people. There's only a finite number of ways to organize 6 people. Obviously, we can make this linear because we could group them out in different dimensions, activities. Let's see here. GB Wally posting a quote that card holders, card holders cannot load cryptocurrency onto the MCO Visa card. All cryptocurrency will be converted to US dollars and onto the MCO Visa card for use. It's like paying in advance to use their platform to buy at their price. Now, I'm not going to, I'm not gonna lie. CRO is a chart. It is on the weekly and daily. Certainly, not given higher time frame exit signal. So I do like GXS for broad continuation. I have my eyes to the upside on GXS. There's something, I don't know. Discuss it a little bit more later. Jordan Stotts asks if I got my vertical monitor set up. No, like a little life hack, right? It's not actually a vertical monitor. It will serve its purpose as a vertical monitor because I'm going to take a monitor and I'm going to make it go vertical. And then I know how to adjust the resolution. Excuse me, the resolution. All right, sorry guys. Slightly bad mic day. Let me boost. Could just be me. I am, a little bit more roundabout, I guess. Yeah, just trying to answer you guys' questions and I'll be on point. I apologize. Yeah, a little bit of cutting, a little bit of clipping, but only when I get far from the microphone. Let's just get this under here. All right, guys. Whew. It's August 4th, 2020. Is this right here? Is this where you guys expected to be? Yeah, I think that's a thought experiment. It's actually a game that I play with my kids usually. I play with my friends, and I really enjoy playing this game with my kids because it's. I think it really does teach them to begin thinking strategically about time series. That their current decisions are connected in a very tangible way to a future moment in time. I think a lot of people struggle with that. I think a lot of people struggle with that on many, many, many different levels, all throughout society, all throughout the world. I think that's probably a big source of suffering, is kind of the disassociation from what you do now to what you do in the future. That's the point where, for individuals who struggle with whatever, from substance abuse to violence to crime to depression to anything negative, or that we would label negative. A very common saying when individuals are receiving support for these is something like, play the tape forward. Like, consider what your bad choices will lead to. And over time, I think that individual, certainly it's borne out in my life and in the lives of those that enter into the tribe. Individuals who make good choices tend to live better lives, and individuals that make bad choices tend to not make it very far in the race. And yeah, all right. So you guys want to do? I could bring. Sorry, excuse me. 107. I don't think. I don't think Alex is. I don't think Alex is not available. He is probably driving at the moment. All right, so let's do something fun. The thought experiment, by the way, is considering the last time you thought that cryptocurrency markets were in a bullish trend, and you were considering the investment decisions that you are currently engaged in or planning on making. I'm not really talking about swing trades that you're going to be entering, like positions that you might be taking, like the nitty gritty of that. You'd be taking signals with a daily swing strategy. But when we're talking about kind of investment, where you are going to be generally kind of structuring it yourself, certainly there are good investment strategies, but as opposed, it generally means like it can kind of mean whatever you want. Oh, well, I'm investing in Cardano. What does that mean? Are you going to hold Cardano for 20 years? Is that what you mean when you say investing? Because that is what I mean. When I use the word investing, I mean I am buying this thing, buying whatever I consider valuable, with no intention really of selling at a predetermined price. Right? That is investment. So I've invested in Bitcoin. I have invested in Ethereum. Words come. Sometimes the English language is tough. Gold, silver. There are other VTI, for example. Some of my dividend portfolio stocks. Those things are never going to get sold. Those things are going to pass on to my children unless there's some dramatic change, huge fundamental change that would affect perhaps the long-term viability, not necessarily of the asset itself, but perhaps impugns on my ability to one day realize some alternative fair market value for that. He said, to hat. Oh, he said, what about... Well, let's go look at some trades. Yeah. Damien, who says, well, I guess I'd rather sell my girlfriend than my Cardano. So I guess I'm investing. I hate to state the obvious. I hope this isn't true. It's possible. Possible the girlfriend was not a fantastic investment then. I'm sure you're being funny, but I really, you never know. This is the internet. If you really mean that, like maybe go back and revisit the fundamentals of the original investment. Maybe they did a stock split. So, anyways, all right. Oh man, you guys are awesome. Okay. All right. So, I say this quite often, and I genuinely mean it. We do really good in Forex. Ever since I began adding support for the Awanda platform via the premium signal service and started working on creating educational content for Forex trading and advising individuals on how to achieve success in these markets. D-Dub, one is a liability, one is an asset. Short romance. Listen, romance is an enjoyable part of life. Certainly do not skip out on it, but understand that romance does not make relationships work. It makes relationships nice. It makes them enjoyable. Just like when you eat like a big bowl of pasta, right? You get a dopamine release. So the dopamine doesn't make the pasta nutritious. It makes it pleasant. Mbate says, it turns out that the Wada Atar indicator is not great for picking girlfriends. Have you tried time transformation, sir? Throwing that out there. Join us next time for 50 Shades of Trade. All right, so Euro Yen, we're obviously long on the Euro Yen. Make sure that nothing's changed. My actual. Okay, no, we're good. Euro Yen is fine. Still on the Euro Yen, up almost 2% on the Euro Yen. This is a fantastic movement. So people sometimes don't understand if they don't trade Forex. We generally don't even talk about movements like ROI or exactly how much has price moved in our favor since our entry. Whether that price was come on in there. whether that price was a market or a limit entry at a specified price. Because those movements are relatively small, so we use a different, this autofocus is terrible. You know, I really enjoy having all of my screens so I can provide more information as I'm doing my analysis, but come on, Logitech. You are taking all the fun out of the job. Oh, by the way, sorry. So you guys can do what you like, but Mr. Jason, Mr. Junior Analyst, is going to, I said I would, and I'm going to, is going to get a new microphone. This is the Blue Yeti. I utilized this for this show for quite a long time. Very good sound. So if you guys want to support that, actually, no, I do know that the last time I bought a Blue Yeti, I think it came to about 110. So let's check. Okay, Blue Yeti, come on, let's do this. Bum bum bum. Whoa, hey, that is not a Blue Yeti. That is a MAONO. No, sir. Okay, so we have the... No, we're not going to get in the ice. Come on, let me get a price here. Everybody has taken to podcasting and driven the supply of Blue Yetis down. These... Forced to use a word. All right, here's... do not need the hub and pop filter. I have a pop filter I can gift to him. All right. See, as I said earlier, the difference between somebody who clicks on Amazon and I understand I'm on Amazon. Yes, okay. Maybe I just revealed a little bit too much, but is the use of the search function. All right. So, to buy blue microphones. You know, the Ember is not too bad. So let's just try Yeti. Excuse me. Maybe I'm not going to be able to buy it on Amazon. Yeti microphone. Come on, guys. All right, new egg. Let's do this. Blue Yeti is overkill. It's a dedicated mic that also needs a mic arm stand. No, it comes like this. It comes like this. I understand that this is not... Okay. Boom. Howdy. All right. So, yeah, the Blue Yeti. It comes just like this. Got a nice little stand. Now, granted, depending on his sensitivity settings, if you have it right in front of you and you do some of this, do the, tapping and the banging, the ripping and the tearing, whatever these kids are into nowadays, that's going to come up in the microphone. But we've got some hacks. I have foam around here. Yeah, all kinds of things. And how can you deny Jason the thrill of a good old podcasting mic? We never know what might come of him. Sure, maybe all he needs is it's a good old, headphone mic. The HyperX is fantastic. It's got a nice built-in dock. I got like several other headphones over there that we could utilize. But having something like this on your desk is special, right? This says I play Fortnite and I might have a personality. But this, whoa, just got real low. Just dropped my voice and went with it. Woo! This microphone says, I've got some deep thoughts, and you want to hear them. Let's go back to the charts. Okay, so anyways, the entire reason I brought that up was to ask if you guys would like to help out You guys can super chat or tip at shoot. It's been so long actually since I've asked for donations. Super chat you can do, but they take like 50% of it. Here. It is I think it's krakencryptocurrency.com/donate. No promises. Normally I'd speed dial. Yep, it is there. krakencryptocurrency.com/donate. Let's see here. Mr. Ether, Robert, thank you so much for the 20 USD, my friend. Highly appreciate the super chat, my brother. He says, hey, there's some more. Hell. Abaya Razier. He can expand on it later. Here. Okay, hopefully I'm not crazy. I want to make sure that yeah. So the Razier mic. Yeah, so let me show you guys here. It's a pretty good microphone. Again, perhaps this is just my personal preference. I think the Blue Yeti is awesome. The different one, that's cool, I guess. But this Neumann, I think. This is a very beautiful microphone. Crypto Jack says, Mr. Ether's super chats this week alone have paid for the mic. All right, bet. Never mind. Donate no more. Maybe we get Jack a mic. I don't know. But we're certainly going to get Jason a microphone. I'm going to get with him. Wada should have warned you about her volatility. Still, gentlemen, come on. I'll tell you what. I can be real for just a second. After I turn the autofocus off, so you guys can pay attention to some of the things I'm saying, and not the fact that this Logitech microphone seems to keep. Here you are. Sorry. I have a microphone. All right, autofocus off. Come on, there we go. Dial that in. Whoa, that's the opposite of dialing, Justin. Reverse dial. Okay, good. Listen. If you guys want, a very, what I should tell you about our explosion rate. So if you guys want just generalized advice, because this is actually hyper specific advice, excuse me, because when I speak what I consider wisdom or strategies that I've utilized, I say what I mean, and I want to make the information dissemination as direct as possible. All right, Crypto Jack, there's somebody in the chat who keeps spamming about this HyperX cloud flight. Could you do some moderation, please? I feel like I've seen HyperX. I don't know. Let's. When it comes to relationships, guys, listen. The same things generally, if you had good parents, but they told you are true. There are a few things that just you can't get away from, and this is, pick somebody based on their values and their fundamentals, right? So when you're looking at important life decisions like where to move, or sometimes what you want to believe, right? You get to choose what you want to believe, right? So you kind of get to choose. You don't kind of. You absolutely get to choose what frame of reality, like the staging of reality that you want to accept. Does your life have some sort of higher meaning rather than just your existentialist experience? Okay, there's a kind of a religious and philosophical idea. I hesitate to put a whole lot on philosophy. Listen, philosophy's done a lot of amazing things, and I think everybody should be studying philosophy. Unfortunately, modern philosophy has degenerated into making arguments sound good and quite a bit of solipsism. Although there are some good logical thought experiments over the last few centuries, but of course, when I talk about the writings that have inspired me over the last several hundred years, it's Murray Rothbard, and he's a little older, but certainly in there. But yeah, guys, I guess going back to that, because you guys have brought it up like 9 times now. romance does not a relationship make work, right? And you can get rid of the romance word and just talk about like somebody that you want to be friends with, or somebody you would want to work with, or maybe your neighbor. Heck, the positive feelings that you have when you're around somebody that you genuinely like are they're a feature. They're a feature, not the mechanism, right? Not the mechanism. The mechanism is strategy. Is the person, whoever it is, this is general for me anyways, like general guidelines for being welcoming and welcoming into my life, because I generally, I tend to consider myself a tribal person. So you're either in the tribe or you're not, right? You're your family or you're an acquaintance. So, are you intelligent? Are you hard work? The most important thing is, are people hardworking and willing to are they hardworking and courageous? I think those are probably the two most important characteristics for a human being, right? If you're hardworking and you're courageous, you can kind of do anything you want to, whether you're right or wrong, and you can get people to follow you, and that really puts you in a position where you can do anything you want to do. You can achieve broad support if you are courageous, because people will see that, and people will follow you if you are you're brave. I really do believe that. But that's certainly been true in my own life, because I do not agree with a lot of what people say about cryptocurrency on YouTube, and I'm on here every single day. Well, almost every single day. Pull back just a little bit, and then hardworking is essential. Like, I'm sorry guys, like lazy people, you're no good, man. Like, we all get lazy to a degree. Sunday is generally not my most productive day, but you have to have a desire to do something dynamic and awesome with your hours. You only have so many. You only get so many hours, right? And maybe we'll figure out later on that, like the way that we view life all sequentially and static, and time is a fourth dimension that we're moving forward in linearly is incorrect, but that does not certainly seem to be the case. So go with objective reality. That means that life is precious. That means that breathable, call them breathable units, like how many breaths as I have. Others are finite, and some people like laying on the couch, I guess. But the more you get off the couch and do things, you get psyched to do more things, right? I just can't imagine it, right? I mean, listen, I've certainly been there. You would be crazy if you thought that I've never experienced forms of sadness or depression or struggle, but I don't know. I do cool things, in my opinion. So that's a strategy, right? If you're depressed, like, go do something cool. I recently learned how to attach a two-stroke 40cc engines to bicycles, and that's pretty cool. So took care of any anxiety right there. All right, so we've been looking at this Norman, this Neuerman. Very little chatting. My God, this cryptocurrency guy. Tuesday, he's not in charts. What is this guy? Oh, what's this link in the description? Hold on. I don't know if I trust this cryptocurrency guy talking about psychology. What does psychology have to do with trading? All right, let's check out this results.com. Sorry guys that boom, keep myself accountable. I said yesterday that I was going to publish the results last night. I wasn't able to do that. I'm going to take a axe to Acrobat tonight and get it figured out. Robert Belladine of Belladine. Here I am. There you are. Let's see here. GBU Professor Wally says the less time one spends lazing on the couch, the more the time spent on the couch is appreciated. Yes, for sure. Their student asks, okay, so I got two things right now, both of which I'd like to do. So first, their student would like to have an explanation of some of the technical signals in the indicators that I've displayed over the last the last week. Sure, no problem. And Jordan Stotts says that he's depressed and he's putting small engines on bicycles. This is a real cry for help. Listen, sir, the only cry for help coming out of my tribe is the woohoo when I'm going about 35. Faster too if you're going downhill and you let the clutch in. If I feel the need for a cry for help, the first place I'll be is out there with the wind in my face. Believe it or not, again, pretty proud minimalist. I really do like organizational projects, so I'm a very, very keen advocate of having a tidy garage, knowing where all your tools are, and building something unique. A second. Listen to the men watching the channel, which is like most of you. I see the statistics, but let's be real here, right? I know the statistics on this channel. About half of you are in your 20s and 30s. Okay. And then about half of you are mid 40s, early 50s. Okay. Cool. All right. So to the early 40, mid 50s guys, tools. Yeah. Of course, for sure. It is pretty nice to have them where you want them. Now, we know this. I don't have to teach you guys this. You guys taught me this. You guys are my father's generation. So let me pose something, though, to you that my father, in all his intelligence, he wasn't that, I don't want to say anything about my father. My father's pretty cool. But he wasn't a very creative person. He would do everything that he did very, very well. Not a whole lot of nuance, though. He wasn't a singer. He didn't play guitar. That's fine. Hardworking dude. Amazing man. How many nice garages have you walked into, right? Nice garages are a dime a dozen. Unique garages that make you feel cool because it's your garage. We got to take a page from Pinterest once in a while, right? And sitting down and developing, a cool, something unique, right? What are you into? Do you like tribal tattoos? I don't know, put some tribal tattoo stuff around your man cave / garage, or work in some design to how you hang your tools. There's any kind of thing that you do. Do you like 80s hair bands? Cool. Design it somehow that way, right? You don't even have to do that. You can just talk about the aesthetics, right? Or you can do what everybody else does and go get tool chest and crate and kit and cupboards and shove it all into this kind of uniform, standardized method, which is still way better than having things willy-nilly. Right. Midwest says, you've seen my garage. Jason has a very nice garage. There's currently some excessive furniture in there that I'm going to help take off his hands. Jack's killing himself over there. Okay. Let's go to June's results. Okay. So June was a pretty basic month for me. I returned 4.04%. So I have, at the end of June, I had 4.04% more Bitcoin than I did at the beginning of June. Okay. And 2.73% more ROI. Now, 3% per month is a pretty good number. And I know some people will not accept that. That's not enough. It's fine. I will be here in 3 years. If you want to go try your hand if you want to try with the goal, build a trading strategy with the goal of returning 30% a month. Go do that. I guarantee you. I won't guarantee anybody anything. I've seen some prodigies. It's very rare. and you have to understand compounding interest in math here. Okay? GB Professor Wally coming hard in the paint with the $20 donation. He's like, hey man, how about we put KNCUSD into the evaluation? Like, I love what you're doing, man. Love the stuff you're talking about. But if you could just shut up and chart, that would be great. Yeah, give me some support and resistance. Show me a momentum oscillator, something. I do not like it when you stand over us and lecture us about it. All right. Okay, so I'll just skip off of this and let's go look at KNCUSD. That's something enjoyable for everybody. Yeah. Let's get off. That's something everybody can enjoy. KNCUSD. All right. KNCUSD. Never have I seen in all my years. Oh, well. All right. Sorry. I zoomed out a little bit. I feel very differently now. Okay. So never in all my years of charting have I seen. All right. So this is a fairly unclear setup for me. So I do not feel directly compelled to go long on this asset. However, I will say that it does appear, like we can broadly see, the KNC has put in some buying signals. Okay, we are in an uptrend. I think, to be honest, the daily might disagree with that. It does seem here that we have had a pretty, we did have a pretty noticeable decline that could lead to a bearish trend. I mean, we already have a bearish trend on the chart. And this is something that people struggle with. Like, what is the trend of the market? I'm like, well, how many candles do we have that are going down? And, what's the general move down? Well, it's like about 7 candles down. We move down, 20, 30%. That's a bearish trend, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. Doesn't matter really. Perspective is less important sometimes in a chart. It doesn't really matter like kind of where the chart is, because let's say just because the chart is near a high price or near its all-time high or at its all-time high does not necessarily mean that the trend is bullish, right? Because what would you consider the trend? The candle after the blow-off top, right? Let's say that we could say that the blow-off top might even be the first bearish candle of the bearish trend, right? So I don't want to argue semantics here, but Brett says, listen, man, I did not get into crypto so that I could work more. I got into crypto so I could throw $10,000 on some unnamed shitcoin and be rich. Send it, dude. Flexicoin, pump that. Come on. Let's see here. Peckham08 says, I just realized I'm 15 minutes behind. Unbeknownst to Peckham, he was listening to me on playback speed of 0.99, and over time, add it up. Robert Bellardine says, I have a gym in my, so sorry, man. Robert, I do feel like I skipped over you. Wally, I know you gave a super chat, but if you would allow me to be true to my former self, I said that there were 2 things that I wanted to do that I was happy to do, and that was explain very briefly the technical signals on that QQQE mod or QQQ mod system, and just kind of say a word here to Robert Bellamy. Now, it's possible that this is a true statement. It could be an untrue statement. This is an individual that claims that he is depressed, and that's totally cool. So I am going to act in good faith. I'm not going to make it the focus of the show, but I'm going to give you a word or two about my own personal life. So, all right, first things first, QQQ, and then we'll come back to KNCUSD. I promise, Wally, we'll not leave you hanging. All right, guys, make sure that you charge him for every minute. No, just kidding. Wally, you are absolutely the best. See, Kolia says, greetings, mate. It is good to see the evolution of the show. Yeah. Whereas, my producers like, sir, you've gone mad with power. I'm like, yes, of course. Ever gone mad without power is really boring. Nobody listens to me when I'm out in my garage, just yelling at faceless. Anyways, so QQE mod. Right chart. Okay, this is a relatively straightforward signal, and again, it's bring back the energy drinks. No energy drinks today, just coffee. That's a Monday only thing. So QQE mod is an amazingly simple indicator to utilize. Now, of course, you can develop any rule that you want, right? So one rule to creating rules for indicators is if it plots an element, and that element is persistent across time series, like so day to day to day, then you can make some rule around it. You can find some correlation, right? Now, in the Pathways to Profit course, I do go over what I consider to be the proper categories for indicators, and then while that might help, certainly helps me because I have an organizational mind. So if I can categorize things into buckets, and then those buckets into shelves, and those shelves into drawers, and etc. It is a mental exercise. So you guys want to know? They're just coming off the top. It's a good day to be genuine. So another thing that I do, I'm an avid reader, and I read Red Dragon and Hannibal. I don't know, probably when I was like 17-ish. So really good books. The name of the author escapes me at this point in time. Obviously, you guys are familiar with the movie. It's Silence of the Lambs, most likely. But if you get the opportunity to read the books are really, really good on a very, very different level. Tom Harris. Tom Harris, I do believe. Let me check my bias here. Author Thomas Harris. Yeah, he will forgive me. He will forgive me. Just like if I mispronounced Thomas Sowell. So, all right. So Thomas Harris, a fantastic author, and he introduces this concept in the book Hannibal of Hannibal Lecter essentially having an eidetic memory, but not a biological one. So most people consider the concept of having a photographic memory to be genetic. And the reality is that it is very much like it's a skill where, for example, I certainly cannot say that I have anywhere near an eidetic or photographic memory, but I have a good one because I daily and have for years now participated in a mental exercise called the mental palace, which is at least what I call it from the book Hannibal Lecter. So this is just something that I read in a crime thriller, a very, very good crime thriller with psychological elements in it. And yeah, like kind of walks briefly through it, and the rest I just figured out. I'm like, okay, cool. So I spend 15 minutes a day imagining a palace inside my head. Like not really a palace right now. So I kind of started off because that's what the book said, but it's kind of morphed into I call it like a pretty cool dojo with like a ton of rooms. So you just mentally imagine each thought or concept or idea that you want to remember, each memory that you want to put important significance on. You imagine it as a mental image, something that you can remember. Mark it with something like, so for example, like say I'm thinking of the mother of my child's birthday. I want to remember that date. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you what it is, but it's a date, and I am going to imagine that date as a bowl of spaghetti. Why? Because perhaps there is some kind of foundational or very important memory involving spaghetti. Maybe we cooked together, like had a good joke, something like that. So that's a good symbol. So I can remember that, and it's an anchor, right? So there are as I progress this kind of idea, this topic, and again, it's not mine. It's just my own personal application of what a lot of people do. Mind palace concept. I applied some components of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is the kind of the concept of anchoring, right? You can anchor certain items through. Well, you can do it. You can attempt to do it to other people, right? Like NLP can be used aggressively against other individuals, but you can also use it on yourself by understanding the power of how you introduce information to yourself, particularly when we're talking about emotional discipline, risk management, and things of this nature. So very, very careful in how I present this material. I'm not exactly sure how we got off on this concept, talking about Hannibal Lecter. But a QQQE mod was something that we were initially talking about. So we still are on this chart. All right, so super trend here is V 1.0. That is the baseline, relatively simple. This is very, very similar to like an SSL baseline or a parabolic SAR baseline. So it's kind of extreme, and I like that. So, one of the biggest mistakes that people can have is to not spend time on what their baseline is. Because remember, we go through this strategy creation system, and as we get towards the end, this idea is dumped on you. Now, the way that we do it now with the Online Trading Academy is far superior, right? We've had the time and energy to really, I have at least, to explain why we utilize this indicator, where the concept came from, how it's evolved over time, and at the end of the day, there are generally two different types of PTP traders, right? There are very aggressive. There are more aggressive traders who prefer sensitive initiators, and generally less sensitive confirmers. Typically, how it works out. I would say neutral volume filters, not volatility filters. Neutral volume filters, which means they do not generate a directional bias. They just tell you if there is sufficient volume, whatever metric the indicator that you chose is analyzing, sufficient volume to signal a trade. Doesn't matter if you're looking at a long or a short trade. Your volume filter either says yes, you can trade long or short, or says no, you cannot trade either long or short. Doesn't matter which direction. Now, personally, in this indicator, in this strategy, we are utilizing Lazy Bear's OBV, that's on balance volume, oscillator. There's a couple different implementations. This is just the one I chose because the fundamental math is essentially the same. There's, I think, some visual elements and some additional elements and plugin that I don't use. Now, this is a centered oscillator, and it implies directional bias. So when the zoom in here on OBV, when the OBV line is below the zero line here, the initiation level, or the zero line, whatever you want to call it, then that is confirming short trades. It is indicating, that money is flowing out of the market based on the, I was about to say money flow index, based on balance volume. So on balance volume is an indicator that's utilized to correlate actual big volume spikes with actual genuinely consistent bullish volume and volume trends. So we can see large spikes of volume, but again, delta volume is a good indicator as well, because we can actually see, if a candle closes red, then the volume is red. And it doesn't really show you what price levels those buyers really stepped in, unless you go down to lower time frames and do your own kind of discretionary analysis and just kind of look at how much volume was here or there. There's some good tool charts out there now for those who want to take those things into effect. They're interesting, they're cool. You certainly don't need them to be good. Understanding the concept that just because the candle closed red doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of buying. Just because the candle closed green doesn't mean there wasn't a whole lot of selling, because the volume bar, the basic volume bar, is either going to be green or red. So it's not really reflective of. It's too basic. Dark Rico says Kevin Trudeau's mega memory is a similar way of having a picture memory filing. Yeah, it is the most efficient method that I could possibly conceive of, and that's why when I was young, I was in my teenage years when I read it, and I read it in a fiction novel, and I knew, to me anyways, this made sense. Like, this is like, how else could you possibly want to or could ever envision improving your memory? Steven Simonovic, thank you he gives a $5 super chat, and he says, Justin, there's a lot of buzz surrounding Orion Protocol. Huge staking possibilities. What do I see? No coin supply on CoinMarketCap is listed on KuCoin. All right. Well, I really don't know too much about Orion Protocol. There is a type of YouTuber that some individuals are, and there's a type of YouTube. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. There are. I'm gonna draw a very basic correlation here, but it'll fit my narrative joke. But before I answer your question, I do need to get to Mr. Robert Bellarmine. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having trouble staying on track. So let's go to Robert Bellarmine here, and then I will answer Mr. Steven super chat after I answer Wally's, and then I'm gonna go. Okay, yeah. So the Mr. Bellany, who has made some comments about being depressed. First off, this is probably far more genuine if we were actually sitting down and talking, because you could literally be a robot. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that you're not, and I'm going to act in good faith at the risk of getting trolled on my channel. It's cool because I figured out a long time ago. Okay, people are either decent or they're not. They either act forthrightly or they do not. And man, 99 out of 100 people will spend all day trying to convince themselves why everything is somehow somebody else's fault. Right? There's no shame in being the good guy in the room. You know? I think we need more good people in this world. I think people are like afraid to be good. But guess what? Like being good, like that means getting burned sometimes because you're a good person. So you tend to put yourself out there and try to help people. So there's no shame in that. Really, the shame is in the individual that would attempt to manipulate the kind intentions of the other individual. Strategy. Right? Strategy. So depression is something that I have certainly dealt with quite a bit. It is just a reality. Let's kind of look at some logistics. Okay. I spend a lot of time on the computer. I spend a lot of time by myself. I am very disciplined. Things are very much routine for me. Let's see here. I'm not a married man. I'm a single man. I'm a single father. That can be stressful. Here, so I have a 12-year-old daughter. I have an 11-year-old boy, and I have a 2.5-year-old girl. So yeah, it is sometimes an unrewarding job. On top of that, I'm super active on the internet. I do the channel, a lot of mentoring, work with my analysts a lot. I do a lot of I don't actually generally spend too many hours trading because my system is the way that I trade is quite easy to trade on the daily. Now there are times where I will trade more frequently. So for example, premium members see me in the premium voice chat, see me post scalps, and there will be times and conditions in which I'll get down like that. You know? But let's see. He says oxy is a hell of a drug. Yeah, so certainly substances can make it worse. So I'm a clean individual. I do not utilize substances. What I will tell you is this. The same things that are going to dictate success in any other aspect of your life are going to dictate success and how you deal with one's own shortcomings, right? So I'm aware, just being honest with you guys, like I'm aware that I'm a pretty emotionally sensitive person, right? So I'm quite sensitive to individuals that are malicious in nature. Like that genuinely hurts my feelings when people are cruel or mean. I'm pretty empathic and I'm pretty compassionate, right? I try really, really hard to be a good person and advocate for individuals to stand up and be. I just did it. I tried to. Yeah, you have to find. It's not like people say something that cliched. Like you got to find that one thing. You have to find that one thing that gives you purpose. I don't think that one such thing exists. If it did, then you would most likely see less, for example, substance abuse addicts throw away families over drugs, for example, right? That's a pretty common problem in America, anyways, that I've seen and watched over my adult years, really even teenage years. It's a pretty scary trend. So you don't just get to maybe you can pick one thing that helps out, right? But if you begin moving your life, as difficult as it may sound, if you begin moving your life in a broad direction towards something that you actively want and that actively makes you feel good about yourself, right? So your current job does not allow you to make the funds required. Improve your skill set. Get a different job. People want to. I don't know, man. I had, for example, I had a lot of family over this week, and I had a lot of these conversations. It seems funny how I can get a whole lot of individuals on the internet, for example, right? Tune in to look at my life, to look at how I live by example, for example. And they're like, all right, cool. This is working for this guy. Let's try this out. And a lot of my family are doing good. But there's always going to be those family members who come over and they're like, hey, you're doing great. Couldn't have anything to do with couldn't have anything to do with your strategy. Yeah. And I think that's really a big problem in and of itself, right? Like when I give people confuse it. I give people advice all the time. It has nothing to do with one's ego. Like the way you go through life, like your decision-making progress, like how you choose to deal with situations, how you choose to process your own emotions. Like you can develop strategies around these things. Develop strategy just around almost anything, and it will improve your life. It has improved my life. Like I've applied systems thinking to so many aspects of my life. Otherwise, you're just going to react. You're going to react in an unpredictable manner. Like, and you can't like fully plan life out. This isn't a simulator, but you can see in real time like how dealing with certain stimulus in a certain way just makes you feel better, is more helpful to more people, and improves your life objectively. Right? I do believe in objective measurement. So, for example, I think working hard, trying to achieve things, not blaming other people, is super important. Right? These are simple things. So, all right. Listen. Like that's. I didn't sign up for this, guys. All right. Like I am a trader, right? I trade magical internet money, and before that, I did not want to work for anybody anymore. Right? I've always been relatively intelligent and a go-getter, and I started many of my own companies. They've all experienced some form of success. So, I don't have the cliched like, like I just tried a whole bunch of things and now I trade crypto. No, like I've been pretty successful at anything I've ever put my hand to because I work hard. Like my ideas weren't always amazing. I wasn't always the best at what I did, but I tried to do good. Anything that I try to do because I like living. So it is what it is. I just pretty much, guys, I just like come on here and I tell you the stuff that I just sit down and think about. Stuff that my parents taught me, stuff that I see strong men and strong women in today's society attempting to advocate to individuals. You cannot listen to everything. Like not everybody out there has amazing ideas, but if you just look at the trends, like a broad trends, you're like, okay, I think that being hardworking, industrious, and honest, and loyal, and kind, like those have to produce better societies. Those have to produce better people. So let's focus on anything and everything we can do to get a little bit more of that in our life, every situation, and every day. And eventually you can actually be like, oh, wow, hey, I just had this crazy idea that I was going to try and end all sentences when I'm like partying conversation with somebody. About to say something positive about them. Guess what? More people want to talk to me. I don't know, and they're nice. It's crazy how silly little things will add up to improve your life. S180XT says, "Has this been a good therapy session for you?" Yeah, I am. Listen, I'm overjoyed if I genuinely, legitimately like say anything that helps somebody out. Like on an emotional level, certainly, but. If I tell you it's time to go on, if I tell you it's time to buy B&B, and you do well, I hope you listen to me. But the reality is, yes, like having the platform, having the ability to talk to you guys, and it's different. Like we're having, I wish I can see everything you guys say. I have the ability to sit here and process and think carefully. Sometimes I'm going to pop off the mouth and say something, like a little too quickly or wrong. It is what it is. You guys are very kind. You guys are pretty understanding. You guys, a lot of you have been watching the show for a long time. So it's very, very humbling. So if you guys, for example, if you guys want to see me keep coming to the show, like all you got to do is just keep going up. So. RJ Jamal says, I do seem sluggish today. I don't enjoy streaming. I really enjoy today's stream. It is really, really enjoyable for me. When we have the when we're more freeform, and you guys let me just kind of float. Maybe it's kind of like reorganizing, maybe some detritus in my brain. So just like a little bit of an unorganized day. So we're gonna have those. That's okay, guys. Okay. Working broadly toward a better, brighter tomorrow. Okay. Moving toward the goal. Moving toward a destination that we want to be at. Okay, so ANCUSD. All right, stay on track. There. What? Oh man, you guys see this? This chair is trying to take me. Crypto Jack says, "Man, I'll tell you what. I love Crypto Jack. He's certainly probably one of the most intelligent people. He has to be, yes, on this server. But he says, shut up and analyze, dude. Draw lines on charts. Do not talk about your bicycles. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to know about your bicycles. And nobody cares about how you think about relationships. That is Jordan Peterson's hustle, sir. Okay. Let's see here. Robert Balladine says, I opened my computer and the stream was on for a reason. All right, so before we get hardcore, I tend to not believe in these in concepts of cosmic fate because for strategy, right? It makes it a lot easier. Like it is really easy if I think that, like there may be cosmic fate, but if there is, like, okay, then I can't really do anything. So it's a lot easier. I think it's more strategic to not believe in that, so that I have full faith in my ability to manifest reality. I don't guaranteed to get what I want, but I've got a pretty good shot. You know, human beings can do a lot if they really want to. You know, like for example, watch any action movie, right? What's one? One comes to mind. It's not the best. It's not even. I don't think a really good movie. I think it's a Walk Hard with The Rock. You know, like any movie where a guy like walks into town and just like, overthrows the evil like drug overlords and just cleans up the town. Just the whole the whole like kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Steven Seagal like kind of fantasy type thing, right? I'm not saying that you guys are going to go out there and like overthrow evil politicians and drain the swamp or whatever you want to do, but it is just an archetype that we attempt to achieve, right? Or that we attempt to make a simile of the best that we possibly can. Is I don't know. Pretty good goal is to have a cool headstone. Like here lies Justin. He did these awesome things. Heck yeah, I did. Yeah. And I was pretty cool about it. I tried my best. All right. Jeff says, the tools we make today will build our tomorrow. Well, we need to get working on this on Google Home because she needs to do more. Like, I need her to be way more dynamic, right? I'm talking minority report. I want my screens. All right. Not that Tesla. No, we're not going to look at it's KNCUSD, guys. KNCUSD. Ooh, yeah, the Air France chart. Oh, man. I feel like I'm never going to be able to leave today. I think you covered the altcoin dumps during the March meltdown. Okay. So, we are on KNCUSD. So, we'll go to the weekly chart first. I want it on Coinbase. We want. Good a bit next. This is decent. We get some good historical data, at least reaching back. I'm just going to use the KNC USD Bitfinex chart, going back to June 2018. Now, hold on, just for the sake of argument. No, this is like later than that. Yeah, so Binance. So yes, we will use. Remember us going over this already, like a couple times. There's the thought process. If you guys are interested, I'm looking for the most historical information. So if you guys are aware of a chart that has a little bit more historicity, but I think we're going to be cutting it pretty close. I mean, obviously we can pull up chart X and pre-exchange data, but I think that's really relevant. Help us out too much because we can't, especially if we cannot apply the indicators in our strategy. So the problem, some websites like ChartX or Coin Paprika are really helpful because they let you see a chart that you otherwise would not be able to see on TradingView, for example. But if you cannot apply the identical system that you would use on TradingView, for example, so a TradingView chart plugin, not the same as giving you access to all of TradingView's features. So particularly their public indicator library. So many PTP strategies are going to be built almost like, I would say almost all of them, certainly almost all the first ones. And then some individuals are going to get into writing their own indicators. And that's cool. That's how most of mine have evolved. I think I took a concept that I liked. I actually studied quite a bit of John Eller's techniques and looked at how I can improve indicators. But yeah. All right, so KNC, USD. I don't have a firm fundamental opinion on this, right? So I'll just start off with that declaration, right? I've always been kind of lackadaisical on KNC USD, and I kind of am on DeFi, right? Like I get it, I'm bullish. I have identified some opportunities that fit my risk profile, and for the most part, I've never done what I do, for example, on this YouTube channel, how I recommend individuals to trade or invest. I'm not the which is why it's good that sometimes Jack, Jason, Alex, and some of the other guys in the group are. I'm very conservative. Like everybody wants me to come on here and be like, guys, I can't even think of the point. Guys, Holochain is pumping. This thing is going to 6,000 sats. All right, if you don't buy today, you're gonna get left in the cold, right? You are going to miss out on life-changing money. It's HOT. Just buy it. What is wrong with you? Just buy a bag. Thank me later. I'll be back on Wednesday, guys. Right? There's a lot of YouTubers that do that, and I think it's silly. Right? They don't know. They have no clue. Right? People who advise you on people who give you fundamental opinions on coins. I mean, it's a thing, I guess. They don't know, and they. Okay, let me just go ahead and slap the argument down before it comes up. Well, Justin, you make your money with lines on charts and indicators, and they make their money by analyzing LinkedIn profiles and blah 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 and GitHub activity. That you can't backtest that information. You can backtest technical analysis. That's the thing. Subjective technical analysis. So guys who are throwing up all the fibs and using all these lines as their primary strategy. Like again, let me slap down the argument before it comes up. Yes, I have been known from time to time to utilize trend lines and lines and other aspects of what's considered classical charting to showcase trade setups, trade ideas, or how to organize your chart, or view the market. But the majority of what I do when I'm trading, I pull up my chart, I look at my indicators, and then I act or I don't. That's it. And that has, honestly, to my great surprise and my continued fascination, amazement, and dedication, allowed me to be a consistent professional trader for quite a while. It's very humbling. It's really cool. I don't know another word for it. So, anyway, so the by the way, that was not that was a purely just an example. Like, don't go out there and buy Holochain unless you want to. That's on you. So I suppose now that for some reason, because I chose Holochain, I do have to drop another disclaimer, although I don't have to. I do hold Holochain. I like Holochain, by the way. I've always had positive things to say about Holochain, but I'm not going to tell you to buy it, right? I advise. We do a premium signal service, and the premium signals that are produced, that are disseminated to our premium members, are trades that I can prove statistically, like how often they will hit. Okay, I've done the work. Okay? I'm not telling you this is a for sure thing or I have a good feeling about this. We don't do that. We don't run our company like that. I don't trade my money on my opinions. And I do not trade yours on my opinions. We treat our community members with respect that we treat ourselves. Okay. Specifics on KNCUSD, since the weekly is, however, giving us a bullish trend. However, I'm going to disqualify this because it's never given us a bearish trend, so we have no perspective. And so we have some indicator lag here. This is a real thing. Excuse me. We are currently in a daily bullish trend. So I would be biased to continuation on the upside. This thing just put in on the daily. Two nice. The first one is okay. Let's be real about it. Let's zoom in here. Like, we are in a bullish trend. We had multiple long opportunities here on the daily chart for KNC. Obviously, here, for example, we have a nice bullish trend. This has you an opportunity loss for about a week. But if we look at QQE mod, which is the initiator here, and this is getting to that individual's question, about the QQE mod. What is this signal for the QQE mod? Okay. So you guys can search TradingView for this. This is a pretty neat indicator by Miguel 09, I believe is the one who wrote it. Pretty cool indicator. And it's some port of a popular MetaTrader indicator. And again, I feel like I should take this opportunity to say, like, I absolutely hate MetaTrader. It's the worst dinosaur platform of all time. I cannot stand it. No. So, I'm good with computers. And so I have limited difficulty when I'm installing some kind of proprietary software on my computer. But of course, that's always installing something nowadays. Maybe it's just me, but I'm calling up my entire team. I'm like, all right, guys, take a look at this together. Okay. It's a bomb, No, I couldn't even say bear short term. No, I would not say that. I think it's something that's bearish is something that is more likely to move down. And if we look at this KNC chart, I don't think you can show me a trend on visible data right here. Again, this entire span that you can see on the screen right here, I can't see a time when price was more likely to go down than up. It seems, I'm with Jason here on the bullish side. I mean, we're above the baseline. This is very simple for us. We're algorithmic. So we're above the daily baseline on Bitfinex. The QQE mod is bearish. Okay, so we do not have, we're not where we would want to be for a momentum continuation. However, there is a possible setup here. You would want to make sure that this works well with your baseline, your selected baseline, but the reversal baseline bounce strategy. This is essentially a very common strategy to Dr. Alexander Elder's, like 3 screens, but it's not unique to him. It's the concept that we talked about this yesterday. And we talked about this in a community mentoring session several weeks ago when we talked about the actual strategy of buying pullbacks in a bull market. Okay? So this is strategy as old as bull markets have existed, guys. And so for the actual signal, for QQE mod is when, if you want to go long, it is when the white lines, let's zoom in, when the white line, which is roughly measuring like average momentum of the chart, crosses the 0 line from below to above, that is a long signal. It's not. That is not a long signal in and of itself. That is the first qualification. You also need to see a blue bar that is higher than that white line. So if that's confusing, let's just look at the components of this indicator individually, and we'll take off all this stuff. All right, so we have just removed everything but the QQE line. So we can see that this is a centered oscillator. This is a momentum oscillator of some type that is measuring something. We don't care. All we care about is, does it give us good signals broadly? And then as we nerd out on this more and get into coding, some of you guys are already going to be cool. That's not naturally where I come from. It's been a process to learn, and a great process. But you'll start, like, okay, so what is the Q, like, how is the QQE similar or different to things like CCI, money flow index, relative strength index, stochastics, Bollinger Bands. Like these are all pretty well instantiated heuristics and algorithms and mathematics, ways to analyze the market. There's not a whole lot of new things under the sun. But what I can say is that there has been so much work done by private developers and hobbyists that perhaps even unbeknownst to them, they have created amazing like indicators that can work well together. You're not going to find one magical indicator that just does all the work for you. You can find a handful that will change your life. You will find you can find indicators that will change your life. B-Flow says, if I drop a super chat, would I do fib circles? You got this. Sir? Mr. Brett, I have met you in person. You were kind enough to invite me to a basketball game with my children. Brought your kids. It was a fantastic time. I appreciated your hospitality, your generosity. So yeah, I will I will let you I'll let you buy my what's the word I'm looking for? I will come on, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. I will gladly compromise my ethical code for you, sir. This. Ride together. Draw fib circles together. Shadow ban for me. All right, I'm gonna do that, and I think I'm gonna go, guys. So, I'm in the mood where I could just continue to do this all day. I enjoy talking to you guys. As you guys can tell, there's a few setups that I am actively interested in. Overall, I do not feel a very big impetus or rush to throw my money anywhere. I'm in the trades that I want to be. Patiently analyzing the market every day, and I want you guys to consider the narrative here. The team and I have been very consistent for a while that we were in a bullish trend. Doesn't mean you need to do anything, though. Okay, just be patient. Wait for your setups, right? I do not feel. I think this is a good habit that good traders will develop over time, right? People call it different things like grace, poise, calm, serenity, whatever. I'm kind of partial to that serenity term. But I don't need to do anything. I'm quite good just being me sitting in a chair. I think that's worth being. Pretty cool feeling. And you guys, like you don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything. You can, you don't have to. I have conversations with people, from the group or whatever. They feel obligated. They gotta talk about this, that, or the third. Like, no. You guys are all probably pretty cool, all on your own. So, don't worry about those identifying marks so much. Is there really a difference between Abercrombie and Fitch? I do not know. All right. Let me see here. Let me just see if I missed anything and if I can wrap any of those questions up relatively quickly. Okay. Mufad P says gold just broke 2,000. Can I please check gold and silver? Thanks. Well, of course. Yeah. CFD, sorry. ZAO USD, and we're going to get off the QQE mod, and we're actually just going to look at this comprehensively with everything else. So gold, first thing, it's quite easy to say. We are in an uptrend. This is the gold spot. This is ZAO USD to the US dollar. It's the contract for difference on Awanda. This would be preferred way to trade gold. Most liquid, best access to margin, and just overall better overall wealth protection. All right, so yeah, gold is fantastic. Gold is amazing. I am not a breakout trader, so you guys are not going to get any kind of breakout signals from me. I will let you know when the system that I utilize to trade gold wants another position to be taken. There are how do I put this? So there's a very good case to be made. So we've put out over the last few months, we put out some again, we are, at least I am, pretty, and I know the analysts are too. I just don't like to speak for people unless they have very passionately affirmed their bias. We're very, very proud of the signal we put out. Now, we have not put out, let's see, so certainly not for this. That's actually not true. I mean, certainly Alex has posted a discretionary position, and Jason has traded pretty frequently, actually, Bitcoin, for example. But I do not recall, I don't think that we put out like a signal for this particular movement, right? That was a signal like buy here, sell here. This is part of what we do. Rather than just general analysis. Like these are the levels that we're looking for, and this is kind of how we expect price to evolve. Let's see here. I guess one of the questions is like, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, I don't think it means anything. I think that there was clearly money to be made in the trades that we took. I think that we asymmetrically de-risked our funds, and yeah, I think that's it. That's about it. Gold in the same league. I think any good, decent ETP system would have you in a gold long. Right? This is not. I mean, this is a classic bullish trending chart. This is fantastic. So let's break down the indicator signal, and then we'll take a look here. Some discretion. And again, I don't. Gold and silver, regardless of what people say about them, are traded. Listen, I've only watched The Gentleman like twice for a brief period of time, but I heard this word a lot. But it is a valid word, and so I'd like to use it appropriately. But it's not getting any like Mitch Ray throwbacks here. Gold and silver are momentum asset classes. And sometimes that's a misnomer, but there are non-momentum asset classes, right? Cumulative asset classes, and there are patterns in price appreciation when price enters into a trend. Like, okay, on average, when this asset gets very bullish, how does it react, right? GV Wally's like, yeah, it seems like you're going into sun worshiping mode, man. Just come back later. It's just gold, very much like Bitcoin. When it gets a bite of the bull, right? When it gets a taste of the bull, it's just like, well, boom, we're just gonna keep going until we hit a wall. We will hit a wall eventually, but you are, if you're long on gold, you are officially driving home from the pub. You've been out at the pub all evening, drinking responsibly, and your friend has done nothing but drink schnapps all evening, and he is wild man, and you are regretting his decisions. Right? He had a couple pints, everything was great. Your friend drunk schnapps all night, and now he is gold in your back seat, and he's just gonna keep going until he hits a wall. Yeah. So sometimes the best friends act. So yeah, you don't need. We can sit here and do it if you like. But gold, silver, these are things that I do not think really benefit from support and resistance. Support and resistance is fine. These are good concepts. But like, objective price targets outside of the realm of a very specific swing trade, like, you guys don't know. You guys don't know what gold and silver can do here. So just as with Bitcoin, excuse me, and as it's played out time and time again. For example, if you want to talk about opportunity cost, right? You get this from traumatized traders who generally don't have a good entry strategy. They're like, look, man, I'm not going to long Bitcoin because it's unlikely to break out, in their opinion. And what it'll probably do is I'll just long it, and then I'll just, you write down on there, right? Upside down, you write on there, right? And I'm tired of losing money like that. All right, I'll tell you this. I think this is objectively inarguable. You go look at when Bitcoin has successfully entered into a trend. The absolutely asymmetric return from just trusting that indicator that did get you into some chop trades. It came through in the end, right? Just choose a fairly conservative, that is not sensitive, a classic centered oscillator, or Maybe something like the True Strength Index is quite good. These are things that test very good out of the box, and True Strength Index is as basic as you can get. A very, very basic built-in indicator. And yes, it's going to get you into some fake breakouts. Welcome to trading. You don't know the future. But if you like, okay, that sucked. Moving on. When you do get the winner, because you will, if you apply the strategy consistently across time and space, and that can take some time. Like, you have to be disciplined, because if you get to your trade, if you get to your breakout trade, right? This is you, baby. This is 2020. You put in the work. You bought Bitcoin. You bought it all throughout. You bought it in March. Heck, you bought it when it was 4K. You know, you are a shining golden god with Bitcoin up at 12K. This is the year where you made all the right decisions. This is your rally. You better own that, all right? If that is the case, I know for a lot of individuals, it just so happens to be. Good. All right, B-Flow coming in with the $10. He says, don't go chasing wicks that fall. Wally, I will sometime do my best to do a remix for you. All right. Let's see here. Don't float with metal water wings. Let's see here. Please stick to the limits and the stops that you're used to. Yes, sir. We do recommend 1.5 ATR with the average range. All right. Mr. Ether says, hit the like button. Yes, highly appreciate it, guys. You guys keep it going. Let's see here. Sorry. This chat. No floating. T-Dub says crypto tips. Buying the strength, generally. The most broad, like buying the strength, and assume that when somebody tells you that something is very bullish, that they're just lying. Like, it's not that they're wrong, they're just lying, right? Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit on the nose, and I certainly am, I don't want to any like beefing or something between any of the YouTubers, but not like nine times out of 10, if I see something on social media that's like, this just happened for the first time since 2017, and you will not believe what price is going to do. Yeah, it's probably going to do the opposite of what you expected it to do. Like, it's so obvious that becomes the, you know, the statistical likelihood. T-Dub says, I like when I dress. Check my LinkedIn, I guess. We do, I know this is like apropos of nothing, but yeah, we do take Litecoin via Coinbase Commerce, which we have. We use Coinbase Commerce now for cryptocurrency payments. All right. Ron Legato says, now he needs a nap. All right. Philly says, just going to log into my satellite eavesdropping satellites. So you have satellites that eavesdrop on other satellites. Oh boy. All right. Also took Polly. Nearly midnight in the UK. All right. So we get, all right. We got our guys, we got our Silence, S180XT, GBU Professor Wally. That says, please hit the like, hit the dislike twice if you didn't like it. That's a good one. Yeah. Hit the like, hit the dislike twice. I get the pattern there. Be a real YouTuber one day, boys. Okay. Here. Philly says, Chief Bull Owl, I do get all my notifications from YouTube to be rightfully thanking them for. So hopefully, you know, fingers crossed that we have done what we need to do to avoid this kind of shadow banning issue, right? So we are seeing notifications go out. We are seeing a big change in our viewership. It is more representative of, you know, if I'm being completely honest here, like actually how popular our show is and how many people really do enjoy. It's not just me. It's not like I'm just a guy, but it's what we're trying to do here. The way that we're trying to trade. I don't see B-Flow super chat. I don't want to ignore you, bro. I just don't see it. I don't see what you said. I gotta look at that. Okay, let's see here. He is saying, hey, you said that if Bitcoin closes below $11,200 area below the baseline, what baseline are you using? Thanks. No, I'm pretty sure I did not say. I could have. But let me go. So, gold spot. Let's just objectively here. We are. Let's be aware of this. We are in an area where all of our momentum oscillators are generally going to be pegged. Right? They're overbought. So it doesn't really matter what momentum oscillator you're going to be utilizing, whether it's stochastic or RSI or CCI or RVGI or some clever modification or something completely new. You're probably going to get a cell signal, a reversal cell signal type of indicator, the first red candle that we get. Right? Generally, when trading these momentum asset classes, like certainly something that I've noticed in my discretionary trading, and I am not telling you to do this, I'm telling you to backtest it because it might work with the indicators in the strategy that you have decided to trade. If you have not yet hit your first take profit, your posted take profit, when you get an exit signal, you can go ahead and exit your trade and assume that this just isn't going the way that I wanted it to. I didn't see the volume come in. Buyers haven't stepped in or sellers haven't stepped in to the degree that would justify holding this trade open. So we're out. Alternatively, if you have hit TP1, which by definition means you've appreciated in price quite a bit, certainly enough to hit your first posted take profit target, or it goes to show like how accurate your TP system is for your initial take profit and why that's very, very important. You can assume that kind of subsequent exit signals, and again, I don't really recommend this on cryptocurrency, and I really recommend you backtest this because, I'm talking about a discretionary concept that I do not apply in my algorithmic BTP system. Right? Perhaps it is because the exit indicator that I do utilize is quite good, so I trust it. But your more classical indicators, heck, even something like time transformation, which is pretty sensitive. We talked about this the other day on the stream, how it will generate sometimes multiple sell signals relatively close to what ends up historically being the market high. But for example, you could utilize those as scaling out signals per se, and rather than get out of town, Jack, sell the whole lot. Now, again, that is I don't want there to be any conflict between people hearing kind of a discretionary approach to a rule and then the kind of hardwired rule in an algorithmic model, right? So PTP is an algorithm. You're out of the trade. All right. Yeah, I do believe so. Going back to that price target kind of conversation, I do believe that the level that I was looking at was about 10 to. I actually want to say 10.8, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think. Let's go look at the chart. Yeah, it's 10.2. It is 10.2. Midwest attempts. Jason was correct. 10.2 is where the super trend V1, which is a fantastic baseline, is at on the daily time. Okay. Now, again, if you wanted to be cheekier or trade reversals within the trend, which, by the way, I'm keen to do. This is what I want to do. I would like to attempt long in that area. I don't know if it's going to turn into a long-term swing trade, if that's a great entry, or if I'll just book, 5-7% profit if that opportunity presents itself. But I do know that it's a good setup. I know that it's a good setup. It's a setup that I've traded before. It's a setup that I've made money on. And that is kind of what I do today. Let's see here. Today's stream brought to you by Streams of Consciousness. And he says, an ADHD. Cries of help, man, as I'm going 35 miles per hour on that motorized bicycle. All right, so Jack's going to commit seppuku, but I'm going to skip the news, guys. It's been a long stream. It's time to go. I have things I need to do. Let's hop over into this scene right here. Oh, boy. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Hey. Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And really, everybody, thank you guys all for joining us for another episode of a Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Yes, today brought to you by Streams of Consciousness, a little bit of ADHD. So hopefully you guys have really enjoyed the show. I did. This was probably this is controversial among the team, but these shows are my favorite. You guys, oh no, I killed the Eddie. Okay, so let's just lay her down the bed.
one convenient location, not directly in front of me. These style shows are certainly my favorite. And I guess kind of give you an idea of what side projects might look like. Because as I say many, many times, in writing the course material that covers, for example, the technical analysis, and the back testing, and the journaling, I will say over and over and over again, and I say it at the end of every stream now, really there are a few pillars that I consider to be, qualities that you need, I think you need to be consistently profitable and to achieve what you want out of the marketplace. You have to have a good technical strategy. You do. You have to have a good technical strategy. But that is the least important. That is of all the things that you need, that is the least important, right? You can have a decent, you can have a not bad technical strategy, right? It's not good. So let me rephrase that earlier. You need at least a not bad technical strategy. You can make money with a not bad technical strategy. I mean, what would you rather do? Would you rather trade a strategy? Like this is what you do. Like you chose a strategy, you're going to trade it. This is what you do. This is what you do with your trading activity. And that's it. And you pull consistently, let's just say like 2% per month. Man, if you guys do not see the power of 2% per month, just take a step back, get some perspective, and think like what you can accomplish in your life. Not what is the quantity of money that I need right now on a very successful trade, and what would I buy with it? I don't know. Probably not anything good, man. Now, you give people a ton of money at once that they haven't really earned or don't really need. The reason so many people push against this, but there are positive elements to some components of our banking system, right? It does kind of force people to think more linearly about the value of their investments and to kind of apply big numbers in, let's see how to put this, to apply big numbers over longer periods of time, right? Which makes sense because that item is generally more valuable. Now, what do most people do who rob banks? I don't know, like try to buy people and substances. It's not a particularly great thing to get magically gifted with, not even magically gifted, but there are penalties to being lucky. Yeah. So in the marketplace, there are penalties to being lucky. Overconfidence, overexuberance, poor discipline. So emotional discipline, an understanding of trade psychology. These are the two most important things in trading. And if you have those two, you can have actually I don't want to say bad, but like not good strategy, right? And you will make money. You will probably make more money than somebody with a better technical strategy because they just don't know how to use it. So you got to know how to use the tools, boys. All right, we will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Apologies for the delay today, and I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. So, yes, make sure to join us in the Discord, discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Let me see here. Steven, I apologize for not getting into Orion a little bit more. Let me talk to Jack and a few more members of the team who are a little bit more, maybe, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a nose to the grindstone, ear to the wagon trail. I don't know what you kids say today. Like, on the block, post it up, like looking for that news, looking for that info. Let me do a little bit of research and see what I dig up initially, because it seems like you're asking more of a fundamental position. And Iron Cac, I do appreciate you kind of coming back. I will put this in the notes for tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure if I don't stick to the format, at least one of my staff members is going to mute me. So we'll get to all the questions tomorrow, and we'll have a nice catch-up session. If you guys enjoy what we do, if you guys want to trade like we do offer a lot of services because we all work quite hard. Our premium indicator suite is designed to help take some of the guesswork out of trading. Our premium signal service is statistically, historically, one of the most profitable signal services that is available in cryptocurrency. Run the numbers. They're all there. Results.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And I highly recommend you to reach out to any current or former member other premium trading group to just ask, like, hey, what do they look like? And you guys can see exactly what our signals look like in our free signals channel of our Discord. So if you haven't yet, make sure to join our free Discord. There's so much in there. Ben and the guys have done so much work putting all of the things that you would logically think that you might need, even want. Not everything that you would want, right? You can't have too much, right? We only have so much room. But it's a great Discord server. Great community. You guys are absolutely amazing. And of course, listen, the general housekeeping stuff. If you guys want to support the channel and this aspect of what we do, then make sure to please like this video on YouTube. It is very important. It does help out more than anything you could do with our social media. Liking this video, even if you're not watching us on YouTube, you can pop in, hit the like button. It does help us more than you think. It's like everybody's like, that's just one like. No, it's really not. You guys create this tidal wave of enthusiasm for this content, right? You guys choose to watch this over something else. And that inherently means that you value it, right? You are engaging with this channel as if it provides value to you. And if that is the case, then, and I think that we have the measurements to objectively show this, we are achieving what we wanted to do when we established this channel, which was to help people and do whatever we could to make this space more enjoyable to trade and more conducive to learning and trying to live one's best life while trading magical internet money, right? That's what we do. To live our best lives and make money trading magical internet money. So I believe that we can do that. I think that we can make a huge impact on the space. And you guys can help us in that by clicking the like and getting this information out to individuals that I think need to hear it now. It's very important, like not now this second, but like at times like these. It's very important for somebody, even if I'm wrong, somebody to come out and be like, guys, listen, okay? Let's not get carried away, all right? We're all in our like 30s to 50s. Some are older, some are younger. But we've got quite a few years. So we're going to see a lot more rallies, a lot more coins. Heck, you might really like Bitcoin, but you don't know how your future is going to play out. It might be that if you continue trading the way that you're supposed to, that you actually end up making the most money you will ever make trading any asset, off of like XRP. You don't know. So let the charts and let data guide you. And man, rein in those wild emotions, guys. Trade safely. I will see you all tomorrow.